Radio yesterday, he goes, I didn't even pay for my door.
Yeah, I just finished my.
Ms. Lopez.
I don't have.
Saying they can't get a room at the Board of Education, can't get rooms at the Hard Rock for the, what's that, the conference. That's where Patty goes. Patty's a resort.
Please rise for a salute to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Joan, roll call, please.
Mr. Henry,
Here.
Mr. Savili, Mr. Kaczynski,
Here.
Mr. Foley,
Here.
Mr. Esposito,
Here.
Mr. Bella.
Here. Carl, could you mention about some of the applications that we won't be hearing tonight?
Sure. The first application is 22-12 Chase Buscemi at 20 Ridge Avenue. We had adjourned that in the middle of the hearing last month. There was an issue with the exact boundary of the sideline to the street. They've not been able to get the issue resolved, so we should carry that with no further notice to September 28th. So if anybody's here on that application, it'll be heard on September 28th. The second application that's being adjourned is case number 22-15, Nicola Paraguay, which was the former BKD LLC application, 1979 Route 35 South. That was the old Icon Lounge. They were going to be in tonight for final site plan approval. Due to an illness on one of their professional staff, they asked to carry that to September 28th. Just so the board understands, the borough does not require notice for final site plan, so they didn't notice for tonight, but it was picked up by one of the board professionals, name was John, that they might need a variance for the sign. So if they need a variance, they will notice. But again, if anyone's here on that application, it'll be heard September 28th. And that's all the carried applications.
And there was one other application, the Priscilla Jewelry, that's not listed here, but it's.
Yeah, that
will be
was
carried.
also, we carried that last month all the way through to September, so we don't have to notice, announce that tonight. But again, anyone here on that Priscilla Jewelry application, that's not being heard tonight, is being heard September 28th as well.
All righty. So the only application we have tonight is Murphy Lopez, 2123. Could you come up, please?
Evening, Ms. Lopez, let me swear you in. You swear affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Just have to speak up a little so the microphone picks you up. And please give us your name for the record.
My name is Murphy Lopez.
Lopez.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Murphy with no R.
And Murphy with no R, Muphy.
Yes.
So, Mr. Chairman, just a little background. This, as you may recall, we've adjourned this a few times. So Ms. Lopez had come in for an application for some improvements that had already been made on the property. And it was determined at the time that it's within the JCP&L high voltage tower overhead line right away. So we had adjourned that to address that and assisted Ms. Murphy with that. We did get in touch with JCP&L. And they've required her to remove certain of the improvements. So the application has changed, and I'll kind of run through it because this is a bit unusual. So you all should have received an updated map that is color coded to make it easy. Thank you, Ms. Lopez, for that. So in the upper right-hand corner, the orange circle is the pool. JCP&L is requiring that to be removed, so there's no longer need for a variance for that. In pink surrounding the deck, surrounding the pool is a deck that also needs to be removed. So any variances related to that, we don't need to address. And then the last item to be removed is in the where's north in the upper left corner of the house. It's outlined in blue. There was a small addition that had been put on, and JCP&L is requiring that to be removed as well. So essentially, the only matters left before the board as far as variance relief goes is the impervious coverage on the property and the setback of the driveway. So the driveway is in yellow on your map and the pavers are in green. Variance, the two variances needed are for the driveway and the patio extension is supposed to be 5 foot back from the rear line. It's only 2 feet. And then the total impervious coverage on the property is supposed to be 45 feet. It's now at 55, and that's been recalculated considering all the items to be removed. So those are the two variances before the board tonight. So I think that, I mean, it's kind of the applicant's testimonies. They didn't know they needed variant, they didn't know they needed permits for this or variances, so now they're in for that. So those are the two variances, the conditions that we would put on this application. And I spoke to Ms. Lopez before the meeting started. JCP&L requires an encroachment agreement to allow the improvements that are allowed to stay and to remove the others that will be entered into. She advised me it was. I'll reach out to JCP&L and get a copy for the file, but we should still make that a condition of approval. And then the other issue before the board is when we deal with situations like this where improvements are not allowed to stay, the board usually imposes a time frame to remove them, like we did with the old bowling alley a few months ago. So that's what's before the board. I mean, certainly at this point, I kind of put all Ms. Lopez's testimony on for her. If there's questions of the applicant, certainly ask her questions, details on the variances, and then we also need to have a discussion on how much time Ms. Lopez is going to be given to remove the improvements that JCP&L wants removed.
Mrs. Lopez, he gave a pretty good update. Could you give us
I'm
an update?
sorry.
Yeah,
Mr. Savili has a conflict on
I
this.
had to recuse myself.
He's going to recuse himself. So we still have enough board members to hear it. It's just a C variance. So thank you, Mr. Savili. Have a good evening.
So if you could maybe give us an update as to the process you're going through to take these other things out and how long you might need. And I just had one question on the driveway, why you needed such a large driveway? That's the two questions I have.
Yes, so basically about the driver, you know, everybody in Jersey with a car. And I have Spanish, a lot of family members come over to my house and I live on Bordentown Avenue. It's, you know, it's super, and, you know, because of our nieces and all that, I decided to increase it to be safely because it's a lot of car passing by, super busy. That's the reason why.
Okay.
Mhm.
Because I noticed you have enough room in front of your house for 10 cars and the garage would be 11 cars.
Well, when my family is coming over, it's like, and I don't want them to be parking on the grass because it costs money to fix it.
Okay, no, I appreciate it. If you could give us an update as to the status of the removal of the other items and how much time you might need.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna put it together to see how much it's gonna cost me because I haven't finished paying what I invest in there. So let me put my budget together. To be honest with you, because I don't want to give you a time. I want to be realistic, you know. So I'm gonna start working on it as soon as possible. I'll talk with people, let's see how much it costs and when they can start, and I let you know, and we go from there.
Thank you. You have no 2 months, 3 months, 6 months?
3 months, 6 months sounds, you know, realistic.
Has Jersey Central Power and Light given you any time frame? or
No,
no?
they said to come here and figure it out with you guys and wish me luck, you know, because I have to do all those changes, you know, so.
Right.
Why is that our issue?
Oh, we have to put it in approval.
Yeah, we have,
But I mean, as far as the things that JCP&L doesn't approve of, why do we got to bird dog that?
Because what we have done in the past is we always want to make sure that, because otherwise all those improvements need variances. And the board's not giving variances for those improvements, so we want to make sure that they are removed. So we kind of clean up the
Okay.
situation. So we always require
Prudent.
a time frame in which to remove everything. Like I said, we did with, I can't get the name of the application, with the old bowling alley. Yeah, which road is that on? On Journeyman. We did it a few months ago. Remember, they need an extension. We told them they had to take down the remaining part of the bowling alley on Journey Mill Road across from the Wawa, I believe it was. Same thing there. We always,
There was a bowling alley in that?
yeah, years ago it was a bowling alley. Yeah. Creative Modular, that was it. Yeah, thank you, Jay. So we always put a time frame to remove it, just so it's,
Okay.
there's something out there. The only thing that we might want to consider is having it removed before the end of the year, because that will affect the tax assessor's office when they assess the property, because if the improvements are removed, then it will be changed for your tax purposes for the next calendar year. So you think you can have everything removed by the end of December?
I'll try my best. I'll have to talk to the person that I'm gonna hire to see like, if they give me time for something. I just want to have this done as soon as possible and, and live my life. So let's see if that can be possible.
I mean, I leave it to the board. I mean, the other thing too is we want to take into consideration is that,
It's gonna be gone for sure,
Yeah,
I just have to
it's-
get the right people, to.
is we don't want to have, sorry to
go
interrupt you.
ahead, go ahead.
Is what we don't want to do is put a deadline that's not realistic, and then
Mhm.
Ms. Lopez has to come back and say,
Yes.
I'm having an issue, I can't get people to do the work. I need another 2 months, and we got to go through a whole nother process of
Exactly.
application. So
Should we give her a month to,
it may be better
Figure that out.
to do it 6 months.
I think I can do it in 6 months. It can be possible. 3
possible?
months, not gonna be possible, but 6.
It's not a
months,
commitment.
realistic, yeah.
If it's not 6 months, you're going to have to make an application and come back here and get more time.
Not a problem, yeah, I'll try.
That's,
I try
you're
hard.
gonna have to make a new application, a new application fee. It's gonna be a lot of wasted time.
No, we're working on it.
Let me ask you, how much time would be appropriate, or in a situation like this, we've never come around something like this. How much time is it possible we can give her, I guess is the question.
I don't think there's any real, law or standard on that. I think it's more of a practical approach is kind of and that's what I've been kind of proposing is when do we realistically expect that she'll be able to get it down so we don't have to have her come back again. And the other thing too is normally when we deal with these issues, it's a developer who has his own crew of guys or can call in the demo guy who owes him a favor and it gets done quickly, like the property I just mentioned earlier. Those guys are builders. I think they got it demoed within like 30 days, 45 days of the hearing, because again, they got their own construction company. So a homeowner, we need to be a little more flexible and understanding. Yes. We could do that. That's a good idea.
Well, if we gave 6 months, would that start like when the resolution is approved?
Well, that's
Would that
another,
be 7 months?
we could do it that way. Sure. We could make it 6 months from the adoption of the resolution, which will be this time next month. And so essentially that would be 7 months.
I think that's,
Sounds good. That sounds good, yeah.
Okay, so we'll do
Thank you.
6 months.
any questions at all from the members?
The, on this driveway, what would be that 11%? What kind of amount of ground do you think that would represent, Jay?
Talking about the overage above what the.
Well, the impervious, the max impervious coverage, she's coming in at 56%. She should be at 45%. What kind of size do you think that is?
12,000 roughly square feet, so 10% is 1,200 square feet. Approximately 10 by 12. Yeah, so that's 10 by 12, 1,200 square feet.
10 by 12?
10 by 12.
Is that, now, did you folks say
That's not
that?
100, is it?
10 by 12 is 120. To zero. Yeah.
So it's a 10 by 100 foot,
12 feet by.
100 feet.
So if you look at this yellow area.
Like if you came up with that,
Roughly the whole depth of the lot, minus a couple feet of that. So that's almost 100 feet.
so it kind of be like this whole section here.
Taking 12 feet of that with that.
Okay.
Jay or John, was it taken into consideration the pool coming out and that extension too taken out?
Earl spoke with Mr. McCaskey today, and Mr. McCaskey came up with that revised number.
Yeah, so
5%.
so the revised number is as opposed to 56% coverage, it's now 55 with the other items coming off.
Only?
I think he maybe didn't count the deck as impervious. It's probably just,
Yeah, he didn't count the
it's
deck.
probably just the addition that counted as impervious.
Yeah.
The wall in the deck probably didn't count, that's why. It's only 1% reduction.
Is the deck considered impervious?
I guess in Andy's mind it isn't, and sometimes people don't consider the pool because it captures rainwater, so.
The deck, if it's pavers, it would be, but I think in this case, it's a wooden deck.
I'm sorry?
The deck around the pool, that's a wooden deck?
It's like wood, yes.
Yeah, so
It's
that's
like
why-
open space, yes. Mhm.
Got spaces in between the
Mhm.
planks?
Mhm.
Okay.
That's
Yes,
not
it has-
considered impervious.
Yes.
In the pavers, you need to keep the pavers?
Yes,
Yes. Okay, no, I'm just asking.
everything else is coming out, so.
And I have a question.
It's gonna be, like,
Is
all
the-
space gonna be open again.
Is the enclosed porch, since that's in the right of way, I mean, in the easement, is that going
Yeah,
or not?
that will stay, on that easement.
Now, the enclosed, what's called the enclosed porch that's not colored, that's allowed to stay. It's the blue little addition off the back left corner there. See, it's blue with crosshatch. That's what JCP&L is requiring to be removed. The enclosed porch and the build and the home itself can stay.
Mhm.
Any other questions from the board? Open up to the public, see if there's anybody that would wish to come on in this application. Seeing no person coming forward,
Move the public portion be closed?
is there a second? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Members, what's your desire on this application?
Mr. Chairman, I move that the application be granted and that we allow 6 months for the removal of the items that have to be removed,
From the date of resolution,
the date of resolution.
is there a second?
A second.
No?
Mr. Henry,
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski,
Yes.
Mr. Foley,
Yes.
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Mr. Bella.
Yes.
Your application approved, Ms. Lopez, and like I said, I'll draft a resolution next month. You don't have to come for the resolution adoption, but Joe will get you a copy.
Okay, I keep you guys posted. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
A point just for her. Does she have to remove the items to be removed before she can do anything else?
Well, there's no building permits pending right now, so it would just be Andy following up, and then if not, he'll need to write a violation notice in municipal court.
Well, does she understand that?
I'm sorry?
So if you can't, and I'll put the exact date in the resolution, but if you can't get everything removed by the end of the 6 months, you need to come back to us before the 6 months comes up, okay? Because if not, the zoning officer is going to write you a ticket, and you got to go to court.
Okay,
You don't want to do that.
no.
Or can she start with the driveway?
You can start with, no, it's all, everything's already installed.
Okay, forget it, that's okay.
No, but a good point, though, to bring up, just so, people are aware that if they don't comply, they're going to be in municipal court. So, okay.
Okay, thank you so
All right,
much.
good
Have a
luck.
wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Is there any resolutions?
Oh, yeah, there are resolutions. I'm sorry. So, Mr. Chairman, we do have two resolutions. The first one is case 22-14, Clinton, otherwise known as Butch Speezer at 19 Evelyn Terrace, and that was an addition on the house. So that was approved and resolution drafted with the usual conditions.
We have a motion?
Move that the resolution be approved as written.
Second,
Joe? Paul?
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski.
Yes.
Mr. Foley.
yes,
Mr. Esposito.
Yes.
Mr. Bella.
Yes. And the second resolution for adoption is case number 22-16, Stanley Cafaro, 105 Nickel Avenue, and that was for a carport. Application was approved, and same thing, resolution with the usual conditions has been prepared.
Is there a motion?
Move the resolution be approved as written.
second,
Mr. Henry.
Yes.
Mr. Kaczynski.
Yes.
Mr. Foley.
yes,
Mr. Esposito. Mr. Bella.
Yes. Resolutions, and I believe we have minutes.
Is there any questions on the minutes at all? We have a motion?
They be approved as written.
Second?
second. Oh, there you go.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any questions from the board at all on any general matters?
At jewelry store, anything new turn up, or we're just waiting until next month?
Yeah, no, we haven't received anything from the applicant yet. They just, we're going to address all the issues that we raised and the public raised to them and come back with a new song and dance, I guess. We'll see what they give us in September.
We'll be here in September supposedly. at this
Yeah,
point?
unless they ask for another adjournment, but September
Okay.
28th is what they're scheduled for.
Yeah, in case they,
What would they submit? Came up with parking deck? On top, well, not, then they'd have a height barrier.
There was an issue with on-street parking and permit parking.
Right, that was,
So they can come back to you with more information on that.
right, what was it?
Their responsibility to investigate that.
I have the information, but I think
Okay.
they were going to review it and present something.
Okay.
quick check. Quick check.
Ornston Road, oh, yeah.
Nothing new with that.
Community center. Community center.
Only complete.
The guy with the Harley Davidson next door is gonna be happy as that. He was there for years, and all he had was, yeah, Joe is his neighbor.
We have a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. We'll see you